Going back a little bit to the college athletes, and I know you've probably heard this a lot because it's been on television and it's been in the media, but how do you feel about young college players going into the NBA a little bit earlier in their career, maybe 1 or 2 years out of college? What's your feeling on that?
Well, I tell you, the 4 years that I was at Beilein Jesuit College in West Virginia, those were the 4 best years of my life, 4 of the best years of my life, and I hate to see kids miss out on that. I think that we're going to have to continue to look at this. You know, I just wish we could get something similar to the baseball rule that either a kid misses college altogether, he's a Kobe or a Kobe Bryant, he's LeBron James, and he just goes right there like a big-time baseball pitcher would, or he has to wait till his junior year. His junior year is over. Give him 3 years. Now, if he drops out, he's only 1 year away from graduating, and he can certainly come back. Having a person come back, try and make up 2 or 3 years, if he gets a knee injury, that's a much different thing. So I'd like to see us go to that rule, you know, that either you're good enough or just wait 3 years. I think it'd be exciting. All that being said, with kids going out early, college basketball's popularity is still at an all-time high. It hasn't really affected our game that much.
So you're saying the talent is still there, even though all those guys are going to the NBA?
Well, I think that there's the talent is there. People are still feel entertained. Now, no, we don't see Patrick Ewing there for 4 years anymore, like we did at Georgetown, or Bill Walton, or Kareem Jabbar. But somebody else is there, and they're here to root their team on. So I don't think people come because the team is so talented. I think they come to see their team win and root for their team.
Now you're entering your 30th year, I believe, of being a head coach. Now, does that stand out in your mind, or is this just another year for you?
Yeah, actually, counting high school, I think it's the 33rd year, and it's a, I never thought I would go this long. I think that when I was first coaching at Newfane High School as the JV basketball coach, I just said, I can't do this for a living. This is too difficult to do this for a living, and now it is here 33 years later. So I've lived a fairy tale life. I've lived it. This has been storybook. And every place that we've been fortunate enough to coach, there's a chapter in it that is just everything that I would have ever dreamed of. So we're probably in that last chapter now. Being 54 years old, I really want to make this work at Michigan, and it would be great to to look back on the career knowing that we could make this one even more successful than any of our others.
Coach, going to a little bit about your philosophy and coaching. I know you're a perimeter guy. You like to have a lot of your players shoot from the perimeter. And here at Michigan, they've had a lot of guys go in the paint. How do you think that will work in the Big Ten? I think, because I know out in West Virginia, it's a different conference.
Yeah, it's, I will find out this year, but I don't buy into the fact that conferences dictate play, and maybe I'm all wrong. I mean, in the Big East 16 teams, there's 16 different ways of playing. We've played against the ACC, I think, 7 times in the last 3 or 4 years. Played against the Southeast Conference, the Pac-10 Conference. I personally, believe it or not, though, my teams have not played a Big Ten team that I can recall, and maybe we had Penn State a long time ago. So I don't know how it will be. I just can't imagine it's going to be that much different when we've had between our NIT play and the NCAA plays. I mean, we have played 7 NCAA games in the last 3 years. That's a lot of different conferences. I can't imagine that it's going to be that much different, that we'll have to make major adjustments.
Well, I mean, you talk all these great philosophies and all these great things you've done. Is there one memory, that you could pick that would stick out in your career so far?
No, not right now. You take, as far as when you're playing deep in March, like we played till March 29th or something this year, and the couple years before we went up until March 23rd or March 24th in the Sweet 16, the Elite 8. Those are special days, and I don't know whether it will be a championship in the NIT, which is every bit as hard to do as to get to the Elite 8. But I go back to my days as a junior college coach and Division III coach, and big wins. They meant an awful lot to me as well, and I would never like to put one win over the other, because the players that I had, they're all so special, and there's a lot of different players in all that time.
I want to ask you this because I was just so curious, but what does John Beilein listen to on his iPod?
I don't even know how to operate an iPod. I don't have an iPod. I have no idea. I have one sitting in my desk, but I have generally, you know, I like music from the 60s. Basically that's the era that I grew up, and I think everybody usually goes back to that time between the ages of maybe 8 years old to 18. Those were the days, you know, that you really paid a lot more attention to, that I paid more attention to music.
Definitely.
So that's if I go to my radio and go to my satellite radio, it's usually the 60s is the first selection that I end up having. But I do enjoy some of the different things, even some of the rap. You know, as long as they keep it clean, I don't mind that. Dancing music I probably like more than anything else.
All right, good stuff. Well, Coach, that's all I have for you. Is there anything that you really want to highlight in this interview, tell people about?
Well, I think that my wife is Kathleen, and Andrew and Mark are going to also join us. Mark's a recent graduate from West Virginia. Andy will be a senior here, going to attend Green Hill School, and Patrick is going to be my graduate assistant. We are really looking forward to moving to this area. We sense the community is great. This has been we've been very fortunate to live in some wonderful places, and Ann Arbor just looks like it's going to be a great place to spend the next part of my career, and hopefully, you know, actually retire here, and this would be the final coup de grace on what's been a wonderful, wonderful career.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you so much for being with me today and taking the time. I know you're a busy guy, and I was so grateful that you wanted to come on the show with me today.
Well, thank you.
So thank you so much, Coach, and I look forward to an awesome basketball season.
Well, let's do it again.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.